is another video about our new Google Meet virtual conferencing system. This video focuses mainly on how to secure your Google Meet sessions and basically just run a more secure meeting so you don't have uninvited guests, things like that. Really, you have two ways to do that. You can set up your meeting and set up the meeting settings ahead of time, or you can start a meeting and then go to the host controls and choose your meeting settings. The way that I think is better for right now is to go to meet.google.com and sign in to make sure you're signed into your Google Meet, your Decatur Proud account. Hit new meeting, schedule, and Google Calendar. Doing so will allow you to set up your meeting with the settings for the meeting already set before you ever start the meeting. So I will go ahead and just call this e-learning day link, and you can choose, like, if it was, you knew tomorrow was going to be an e-learning day, you could just make it tomorrow, or you could basically, like I talked about in the last video, you could make that link last for the rest of the school year, and it would just be the same link anytime you wanted to join that, kind of like your personal room. The time doesn't matter because you can start and end the meeting anytime you want. So I'll just put it on there for any time just to kind of get it out of my eyesight. Google Meet is already selected. Here is the link that you would want to copy and put into Canvas where the kids could click on it. Or if you were sharing this with staff or parents, or if you wanted to meet in another way. Over to the right is the little settings icon. I want to make sure host management is on, and then I can decide what I want my students to be able to do. I don't want them to share their screen or send chat messages, reactions. They're fun, so I'll just leave those on. Host must join before anyone else. I leave that on so that no one can get into the meeting until I started it. And then restricted, anyone who hasn't been invited must ask to join. And I'm not really inviting my students by typing each one of their names in. I'm giving them the link and they're trying to join. So they'll go into kind of like a waiting room and you will hit admit or admit all. And these two will kind of be on by default from what we set up in the admin settings. So this should always be on and this will always be checked. You can also hit guest and add any co-hosts if you have any team teachers or somebody you want on that meeting with you. Once you're done, you go ahead and hit save. And now anytime you use this link to start the meeting, it has those settings. I'll hit save. And you'll see that it's on my calendar now every single day. And now it just doesn't matter if I'm surprised one day I wake up and I hear, we get a phone call that says today's an e-learning day, synchronous live, no matter what day that is. Let's say we have a freak snowstorm on April 24th. Well, that e-learning day link for my Google Meet is right there. I can click it and hit join meeting. So as long as you can get to your calendar, you can join your meeting that way because it keeps it there every day, easy to find. If you go to your meet.google.com, you'll see that it's also listed right there because it's a scheduled meeting. So that's the one I like because it puts it on my calendar. I know where to find it. It keeps it over here. And the settings are already there and on. The other way that you could do it, you could hit new meeting and you could choose one of these, create a meeting for later or start an instant meeting. Neither one of those really has some of those settings on, so you would have to do it after you start the meeting. So let's say I'm just starting an instant meeting. Over here, it gives you the link to your instant meeting. You could throw that into a Canvas announcement, send it out to your students, and they could start trying to join. Come over all the way to the right, and you'll see your host controls. Host management is on, but all of these things are on, so you might want to go ahead and fix whatever you don't want them to do. Turn on their microphone. Maybe you want to be the one that unmutes them. That's kind of up to you. The ability to turn on their video, and then, like I said, host must join before anyone else is already turned on, and restricted is already turned on. So those two settings are on no matter what. So basically, you start your meeting, you go over to host controls, and you set up the way you want it, and then you'll start getting in your participant panels, it'll start popping up, people want in, and you start admitting them. So you can still control your meeting that way. And just remember that every single time that you hit create a meeting or start an instant meeting, it's a brand new link. So that's another reason I like using the Google Calendar, because no matter what day I click on, this meeting ends with RXM. So if I were to go all the way to May and click on it, it's still RXM. It's the exact same link. So I kind of like knowing that that's always the same link. I won't get confused with any other links that I've set up. That's basically some of the ins and outs of setting up a more secure meeting.